What's up, guys? So, did a little setup video yesterday about this channel, and I kind of just went through a whole plethora of things that I was planning to talk about on this channel. But I decided, um, I didn't want to be doing a channel about drugs, drug use, coming off of drugs and withdrawal and things like that without actually experiencing some of it. I didn't want to be talking about on the channel what I'm going to do, what I plan to do, because that's a drug addict for you, right? You're always starting tomorrow, not today. You're always starting next week, not today. You're always going to start after this last prescription is done. Well, at the beginning, my New Year's resolution is going to be I'm going to get off of whatever drug I'm on or whatever it is. So procrastination is a huge part of what we do as addicts. Is putting it off one more day, putting off the uncomfortable nature of withdrawal one more day. And as I was talking through everything yesterday about how I was going to share this and that and the other, and all about my life and my history of drug use, how it started, how it's affected me, how it's affected my loved ones, and where I'm at with it today. Sometime between the time I recorded that video and that same evening, later that evening, I kind of had a change of heart, and I said, you know what, if I'm gonna do this, then I need to be going through it, so that I'm being truthful and that I'm being honest about where I'm at with my current drug use. And so I'm just gonna start. I'm just gonna start talking, and we'll see what happens. So I do want to say I will, at some point, depending on how far I end up going in depth in this, I will share some stories about the first time I was ever intoxicated, the first time I ever smoked herb, or just some stories that I have about negative consequences that I've experienced as a result of my drug use throughout the years. I will talk about those things, but I felt like the first thing that I should talk about is here and now, in the present. And I felt that would be something that's more meaningful, not only more therapeutic to myself as I get my feelings out, but also more meaningful to anyone who's listening who might be going through something similar. So I've dabbled in all kinds of different drugs, but my drug of choice, the one that really took me down that rabbit hole, that I've had a lot of trouble staying away from, has been opiates. Now, I've never, well, I can't say I've never done strong opiates, because I, at one point, was heavily addicted to painkillers. This is in my late 20s, and throughout part of my 30s, I was heavily addicted to painkillers, and they're pretty heavy. I'm talking about even oxys. Was addicted to those at one point. I get scared to say the word H, because I feel like that's kind of a trigger word for the algorithm of YouTube, and I don't want to trigger that and get this video shadow banned before it really even gets started. So I'm just going to call it H, but you know what H is. That's H. So I personally, I can't say I've never done it, because there was a time where I got a hold of a little bit of H that was in powder form, and I actually snorted it. I did not inject it, as they say. You think of, when you think of someone using H, you think of them tying off their arm and shooting it in their vein. But that's not the way I did it. I actually snorted it. And it was literally, I can name all in one day of my life, and I'm 46 years old, that I did H. So I don't have a lot of experience with that, other than doing it that one time. And thank God I made it through it, because I was there snorting it like there's no tomorrow. I had never even used H before, so and plus at that time I was several years out of active opiate addiction. So I would say I'm actually pretty lucky to still be here talking to you and surviving that. But for those of you who have been on the real heavy, like the H and stuff like that, I don't have a lot of experience with that. A little experience with OxyContin back in the day. I don't have a lot of experience with that either because I never had a prescription for it. There was a few times where I got it, like off the street sort of thing, and crushed them up, snorted them, stuff like that. So I've done that. Adderall, I've had experience with that, which I'll talk about a little bit later on. But anyway, I keep trying to, but I know yesterday I talked about that I was going to talk about my past, and I will eventually, but I think what's more important is to talk about my future. So several years back, I discovered Kratom. And that's, a lot of you guys are probably watching like, oh, dude, I clicked on the video because it said Kratom. Where's the Kratom coming to play? Well, I'm on Kratom right now. And I was several years clean off of any sort of opiates when I actually found Kratom. And believe it or not, I had no idea what Kratom was. And I still remember when it happened. And my wife and I had gone on a little vacation to Bryson City, which is here in the North Carolina mountains where I'm from. And, well, I'm not from the mountains, but I'm from North Carolina. And we go to Bryson City for a couple of days vacation. Well, we get there and we're like, you know what, let's, her and I both dabbled in a little bit of that, nothing major, a little drinking, and we were planning on doing some of that. We were on vacation, and we're work really hard, very responsible people. So that's what we had kind of planned for ourselves as we went. And so we end up going by this head shop, or no, we drive by this head shop, and I look and I see in the window where it says Kratom. I was like, what is Kratom? What is Kratom? What is that? I'm going to refer to it as Kratom. That's what I always call it. Some folks call it Kratom. And so I said that, and then lo and behold, I look it up on my phone, and lo and behold, what I see is similar to an opiate. And for any of you out there that have any sort of past or current addiction to opiates, you already know, for me, that was a trigger. When I saw that it was kind of a replacement for opiates and it helped people who were on H and other heavier opioid type medications, helped them to get off of that medication, as soon as I heard that, my ears perked up and I was like, wait, what? Opiate replacement? Huh. Wonder if there's any truth to that. And and of course the first thing I thought was, nah, that's bullcrap. That's bullcrap. There's no way that will be legal. There's no way that would actually be selling that. So we went. So we decided after that to go to this Kratom, to this store, and I talked to the lady in there a little bit, and she confirmed that is a similar sort of effect of as an opiate. That it wasn't as strong, but it did carry a similar sort of euphoric type stance with Kratom. And of course, me being the addict that I am, I bought some. And I remember I bought a small packet of the capsules, and I was shocked when they said serving size was take 6 of them. Because I was, I come from back in the day where I was taking painkillers, and you couldn't, if you took 6 painkillers, you would be on your ass, or you're sleeping for 3 days, or dead. So, they weren't nearly as strong. So I started off small. I don't remember exactly, took maybe 3 or 4 of the capsules, which were close to about a gram a piece, maybe. But again, I'm going to remind you that I had not done any sort of opiate in several years at this point. I had smoked a little weed, I was drinking some alcohol, but neither one of those are my first choice of what I would prefer in terms of my drug of choice. And so I took a small amount of them, and of course, because it's been a while since I've had anything that affected those opiate receptors in my brain, I felt it. After about 30-45 minutes, I was like, whoa, they're not lying. You know, it really does have a similar sort of effect as like a painkiller or something like that. And this was probably 3 years ago now that this happened, and I gotta be 100% completely honest. We were sitting on that cabin on top of Bryson City, in the Great Smoky Mountains of North Carolina, and I knew as soon as I took that, and I was sitting there, I remember it was on a Saturday because the UFC was on. I love MMA and I love watching MMA, so I was sitting there on my wife's tablet because they didn't really have working internet and television and stuff like that at this place. We were in a cabin sitting on top of the Smoky Mountains, so reception there was really bad in terms of you know, cable and things like that. So I was on my wife's tablet, which had like a hotspot on it through her work, so I was able to watch a UFC fight. And I remember sitting there watching that UFC fight and feeling that buzz for the first time from the Kratom, and immediately thinking to myself, damn it, you've done it again, dude. You've done it again. You're hooked. I already knew I was hooked. You know, a person like me with my past, where I have a past of abusing painkillers, and I'm talking about I was hooked on painkillers. Now, I was never a person that went and stole money and, you know, stole things from people to pawn something. I never did that. And one of the triggers for me was, you know, I have a mom who had some chronic pain issues that she dealt with over the years and stuff like that. So my parents actually had prescriptions for opiates. And I'm ashamed, very ashamed, to say that that's one of the things that I think triggered my addiction, because I would take those from my parents. And yes, I did get to a point where I stole their pain medications, and I'm super ashamed to say that. That's my past. I don't do that anymore, but that is something that I did a lot of during my active addiction. And when I wasn't able to do that, I was buying them off the street. When I wasn't able to do that, I was doctor hopping, going to the doctor, you know, oh, my shoulder hurts, oh, I was in, you know, martial arts and I threw my back out. Can I give me a little something, you know, help with the pain? I'm having trouble sleeping. Oh, you know, this cough, man. I mean, you got, you know, maybe give me some cough syrup or something, you know, codeine, you know. Did that whole thing for a little while. I've done it all. So you can imagine, for somebody like me who has that sort of history with painkillers, first discovering something like Kratom, I knew immediately, and it clicked immediately in my brain that this is going to be an issue. Not only that, it's legal, and there's a smoke shop and a head shop literally around every corner, and I knew that was going to be bad news for me, you know. And it's something that I didn't immediately express to my wife, but she knows now. You know, she knows what I'm going through now, and she knows that I'm kind of making an attempt to come off of the Kratom. And so I'm going to wrap up this video, because I'm going to keep all my video diary videos short, you know, 10, 15 minute stops. So I got a little over a minute left to crest 15 minutes. So where I'm at now is, as of about the past year, I've discovered the extracts of Kratom, the MIT 45s, mainly the MIT 45s, the OPMSs, the you know, the Kratom extracts. They're stronger. They have a lot more of the extract, the euphoric causing compound in it. So more recently, I've been taking a lot of those. As you know, if you've tried these at all, these things are super expensive, man. You know, 15, 16 bucks for a little tiny, you know, 2 milliliter bottle of extract. And you take that thing, and if you're sparing, you can make it last a day, for one. And I try to be sparing, but, you know, again, I'm an addict for this sort of stuff, so being sparing is difficult. My wife and I make good money, so it's a trigger for me, the fact that I can buy these anywhere at any time. I have 2 within you know, a 10-mile radius of my house. I drive past both of them on my way home from work every day, and my wife and I have enough money in the bank to buy them. We're both professionals. We both make good money. Now there's times where I cringe at the amount I'm spending on them, but you know, there's a lot of things like that. The fact you can get them anywhere, the fact that we both make good money so that I can afford to buy them, it's gotten me hooked. It's gotten me hooked again, and that's kind of where I'm at. I haven't taken an extract today because I'm not quitting this cold turkey, because like I said, I have a job with a lot of responsibility at it, and I can't be going through withdrawals and feeling like shit every day. And I just got promoted to a new position at my job too, so I need to be on point. I'm not quitting Kratom altogether just like that. I'm tapering down. But my experience has been that they're so much more potent, the extracts. When I stop taking the extracts, even if I'm still taking the capsules throughout the day, I still go through a couple of nights where I have like really intense dreams, nightmares. I'm kind of waking up every 2 or 3 hours. It's not really, the sleep is not all that restful. It's more like restless sleep. And it's enough, taking the capsules is enough to kind of stave off the like full-on withdrawal. So I don't go into like full-on withdrawals when I stop taking the extracts, but I can definitely tell a difference, because it's just a lesser amount, you know, to get the amount of the MIT, which is the short for the whatever the, I don't even know how you pronounce it, whatever they call it, the technical scientific term for Kratom, the alkaloid in it that actually makes you high. I'm not sure what you call that. Begins with an M. But there's so much more of that in those extracts that when you would have to take perhaps 10, 15 of the Kratom capsules to equal the amount that is in those extracts. And I'm just not willing to do that. It's not good for your body. It'll stop up your system, give you constipation, stuff like that. So I'm just not willing to take that many. So when I come off of the extracts, I'm experiencing some slight withdrawal symptoms, which I'll go into a little more after I'll go into a little more in my subsequent videos. So anyway, I've kind of set it up a little bit for you where I'm at, and if you guys are interested in what I'm talking about here, you know, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. If I see that type of response, you know, on my lunch break every day, I don't have a lot of time because I work, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I try to stay in shape and do everything like that as well. So I don't have a lot of extra time, which is why I sit here in my car and I do this on my lunch break every day, because it's about the only time I have to, you know, really spend time and get my thoughts out doing a video. So anyway, that's where I'm at. If you find this interesting, let me know, leave a comment, and there will be subsequent videos of this. And I just really hope it helps someone, and I hope it helps me a little bit. You know, I'm feeling a little down today. Like I said, today is my first official day off of the extracts. I have taken probably anywhere from 7 to 9 grams of Kratom powder today via capsules. So I'm not completely off of Kratom at this moment, but I have substantially decreased the amount I've taken because I haven't had any of the extract, and I can already tell a difference. I can already tell my mood is a little lower. I'm kind of like, you know, not feeling all that great, to be honest with you, but that's part of it, and I'm gonna continue. It's just what I need to do. But thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you next time. Peace.